Welcome to Life, Lessons, and Laughter with your host, Glenn Ambrose.
Hello, hello. Here I am. I'm here. I think I need a little more light. So, how is everybody tonight? I got some good, I'm just adjusting my lighting. I got some good feedback from some of you guys on my Instagram and my Facebook pages today. So thank you. Of course, I have my opinions, but I really wanted to get some of your opinions about today's topic, which is social media. Social media, literally where we are. We are on social media. You know, the whole world is it's kind of surreal. You know, when you just stop and think about it, like when you put a little distance between you and what your life consists of when it comes to social media, and then, you know, just to put it into perspective, just think back, 20 years or something, or even 10 years or 5 years, just to see how much of a part of our lives that it's become. And it's become a huge part. I mean, it's really, I almost have trouble admitting it. It's a gigantic part of our lives. Oh, let me click on my comments here. Hey, there I am. Hi, Laura. And let me turn my comments on my Facebook, because that always kicks off. Yeah, so social media is a huge aspect. Public. Okay, there we go. Hopefully I can read all your comments now. So yeah, hop on, say hello. Let me know where you're watching from. I know Laura's in Rhode Island. So social media is, a gigantic part. Hey, Raina, thanks for joining. Where are you, Raina? Well, I know you're on YouTube because I can see the little icon, but I mean, in the world. And Buddy's here. What's up, Buddy? Buddy is in Massachusetts, I believe. I think possibly still in G Vegas. Raina's in Dallas. Sweet. And I had some people commenting on my Instagram page too that are from the UK. So they're going to be watching tomorrow because it's too damn late over there, which I don't blame them. So social media, and I would love to hear you guys' input as I move forward. What do you like about social media? What do you not like about social media? Because it's a gigantic part of our lives. And somebody, one of my favorite comments today was from my friend Michelle Miller, and she said that it's a necessary evil. And that jumped out at me because I was like, wow. I'm like, hey, Pam's here. New Mexico. Sweet. So yeah, a necessary evil. I could relate to that because it's kind of necessary for business. I mean, of course, not all businesses, but mine, for example, I mean, I don't know. There might be other ways to go about it, maybe, depending on, like if I want to work in a certain area or maybe within a company, there's variations of life coaching and even spiritual teaching that you can have a job that's localized, which is exactly what I don't want. So so it's not going to work for me. But there's a lot of businesses that really rely on it, and it's amazing. And that kind of, there were things started, I started taking some notes right before, and things started tying in to a broader perspective that I think kind of explain things, because a lot of, like I just said, necessary evil, specifically for businesses. Somebody else was very insightful, and they said that it feeds controversy and sales, and that they're not concerned about society, which, that's the type of stuff that started tying in. And what I'm seeing is that the social media is, it's a business. It's a business. And if you look at it like a business, then it kind of makes more sense, because you have a broader perspective, and this is what I think we have to look at. Of course, big business right now is very much in the forefront of people's vision, because there's a lot going on in the world, especially in the United States. Well, with big business everywhere, and big pharma, so you've got all this change of money happening with a lot of small businesses going out of businesses, and the big businesses having record years during the pandemic and all this stuff. So there's a lot of this mentality going on. And if you just look at it like a business, and we treated it as a business, it's of course, it still has its drawbacks, but we're responsible for our own interactions and how we use things. Technically, there's nothing wrong with social media. Technically, the problem is that we use it improperly, and that's when it becomes a problem. Of course, everything is like that. Nothing is good or bad. It just is, and it's how we use it that messes with it. That's why I don't have a gigantic issue with social media as far as it impacting my life in a negative way. I don't think social media really impacts my life in a negative way, because I'm in control of my life. Why would something external impact my worlds? I just wouldn't let that happen. So social media doesn't really impact my life in a negative way, but that doesn't mean that I don't see the negative aspects to it. I do. And a lot of it is because it's a business. Because what have they found out as social media expanded? They found out, and I mean, there's, research on this that's out there. They found out that if they expose you to certain bits of information, that they can actually manipulate the way you think, the way you act. They can get you to buy things. They can steer you into certain directions by minimizing your exposure to certain information and expanding your exposure to other information. They can actually direct society into different ways. I mean, they've proven this. So that's what they're doing. It's a business. So we need to make sure we look at it like that. And, somebody said, they're not concerned with the consequences that it has on society, and they're not. I mean, Facebook doesn't care about you. It doesn't care about society. It cares about making money, which there's a certain aspect of that I think is okay, because it's a business. That's the whole point of businesses. It's to make money. The point of my business is to make money. It's just, that's how I eat, so there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, will you sacrifice your values in order to make money? I won't. They will. Most businesses on this planet do, so when you understand that and look at, like, what's the purpose of the whatever you're looking at, then you can start understanding the dynamics within it. And it starts making sense. You might not like it. You might not agree with it, but at least you understand it. And if you understand it, then you can at least that gets much closer to accepting it. I don't think that we need to, I say this about everything. Everything is energy. So we don't need to fight against things because that just adds energy to it. We're like, if we don't like that Facebook and Instagram is, that they're manipulating us, we don't have to fight against Facebook. I mean, how would you how would you anyway? That's probably a losing battle. But like, we don't have to. What we have to do is just starve it. If it's impacting your life negatively, starve it. Use it less. Find other avenues. If it's impacting your life positively, increase it. Like, I would, if I didn't have my business, I think I would be on social media very, very rarely. It would just be to keep up with people, friends and family, which is one of the huge benefits. I'm in touch. Well, I'm in touch with Buddy, man. We knew each other when we were in high school or right around there. So it's wonderful to stay in touch with people, to keep up with people, to find out what's going on in people's lives. So it's very beneficial. It has its benefits. Creative expression, bringing people together, spreading love. These are things that social media can do. But it also has the opposite. If you can spread love on there, you can spread hate. And it's right now we are creating a new paradigm here on Earth. And what we need to do is continue starving what we don't like and feeding what we do like. So we can do this on social media as it is now, stay off of it, or you don't have to unfriend people, but you can block from seeing their posts and still stay friends. I do that. If there's somebody negative all the time, I don't want to see that stuff. So I just block it. If I want to see what's going on with them for some reason, then I'll go over to their page and click on it. I'm still friends with them, right? I just don't want to see the negativity all the time. So we can feed what we do want to see. We can put out lots of good. We can use it for our benefit, to some degree. The other piece that, and please throw in some comments here about what you guys think about this stuff. The other thing that was big on the comments is that people said the pressure on the youth, especially, to fit to society's expectations, to live up to Instagram's life expectations. The pressure on the youth is tremendous, and that to me is kind of, I don't know, man. I have mixed feelings about that, because maybe the timing was perfect, but last night I decided I wanted to watch Breakfast Club. Somebody had mentioned it a couple weeks ago. It popped into my head a few days ago, and I was like, I just want to watch the Breakfast Club, man. So I watched it last night, and then here we are talking about the pressure of youth, which is one of the things that movie talks about. And, the youth has always felt pressure to fit in. This is nothing new. The fact that it's on social media as opposed to in real life, it's still the same. The other aspect of it is not just the youth, but everybody has mentioned this to me over the years, that a lot of people like post the best of their life. So then people start thinking that their life is awesome, the people posting, and then their life sucks and it doesn't live up to the lives that are being shared on social media. So they feel less than. Now that is, I mean, everything is a matter of our self-work, but that we need to be careful of. I mean, I'm all about empowerment. We need to take control over our own lives. Like that is something I never felt. I have never, because I mean, I woke up 18 years ago. So I wasn't on social media before. So I had been living spiritually for, I don't know, like 6-7 years before I got on social media. So I had time to really anchor into who I was. And I never, like, when I see people posting boats and beautiful houses and cars and vacations and all that stuff, never once did I think that encompassed their life. Like, I never thought that, never even dawned on me until people started saying that that's how they felt. I was like, really? You thought that was their whole life? Like, that's not their life. They're just sharing the good stuff that happens. I do the same thing. I don't like feeding the negative. So like if I'm having a crappy day or something, like, I have no problem discussing the difficulties of life that I experience with friends, with my family, with my clients, sometimes on these podcasts. I have no problem discussing it if there's a purpose. Like, if I'm going to go into the solution, or if it's with my family or friends, if I need to get it off my chest or just share what's going on in my life or something, if there's a purpose, I will do it. But I don't feed that because I don't want it to expand. So I don't put my negative stuff out on social media, not because my life's perfect, but I don't want more of that. So to me, what I put out on social media is putting energy. I'm putting my energy out on social media. I'm putting my energy, my attention, my thoughts, my words out on social media. What I put out, as a general rule, I try to be conscious of. I try to put out what I want to expand. I don't want to put out things that I don't want more of, so I don't put energy into, I don't feed that. But that's a thing that a lot of people struggle with. They actually, I guess, I came in through recovery, as most of you know. So one of the things that I learned very early on was, do not compare your insides to everybody else's outsides. And I took that to heart. So, I mean, I really live that. I don't, if I don't sit there out in public and go, oh my God, look, this person must have a wonderful life and my life sucks. Like, I don't, I don't know what's going on inside of them. And it's the same thing on social media. I'm not going to sit there and go like, oh, look, they posted a bunch of nice pictures. They're and look, they're with their spouse and their children, and they're all smiling. So they must never fight at dinner. And the kids probably go to bed without a hassle. And everybody's just hunky dory all the time. Like, to me, that's a stretch. It's just a picture. Like, anybody can smile for a picture. What's going on in their life, I have no idea. So I think we need to keep our feet on the ground and remember that just anchor into, that's our responsibility. Everything's our responsibility. So I don't want to blame social media for stuff, because it's, if you understand it and that it's business, then it is what it is. And they don't really care about you or society. They're just trying to make more money. Why? Because they're not a socially conscious business. There are those businesses out there like that. I think I'm one of them. There's many of them, even big ones. socially conscious businesses. Facebook is not one. You know, so if we understand how it works and we take responsibility for our interactions, I think that that's, that's key. That's key in life, and that's key with everything. So, I wanted to lead into this and be honest about it, because I am honest. I'm socially conscious and I'm honest. So, hey, Sarah, thanks for joining us. Where are you? Sarah tends to be all over the place, so I'm curious. We've got New Mexico, Dallas, Massachusetts, Rhode Island, and I'm sure other places. But so we'll see where Sarah is. But yeah, so there's nothing good or bad. It's what makes it. If we take responsibility for our lives, we're good. That's the big thing. I think the more dangerous parts, Cindy's in Florida. Thanks, Cindy. So, one of the things that's kind of behind the scenes that I think is a little dangerous with social media is it's the manipulation of the information, because even if they're doing it, you don't know where they're directing you and where they're not. The censorship, it really, that knocked me for a couple days when I first found out that they were censoring information about healthy stuff like natural immune system boosters. When they started banning that on social media, I was like, oh my God, wow, they really don't care about people, and they're not ashamed to do this. And that's kind of dangerous, that the levels of censorship of information that they're doing, how much, and they found out they could do it, God knows when, maybe 10 years ago or 5 years ago, whatever. And they started implementing it and doing it in these little ways. And then the pandemic hit, and it's just now, I don't know who these people are tied in with and what their agenda is exactly, but they are really just steering everybody in one direction, dramatically. And that, I got to be honest with you, that just rubs me the wrong way, because it's, people think that they have all the information and they don't, and it's gets worse. Like, I saw this years ago with the topic of the wars that were going on. People thought, like, they would I was speaking with somebody about 9/11. Well, I was actually listening in and and chimed in, but they were saying how the Muslims, all the Muslims want to kill Americans, and I was like, no, that's not true. And they said, well, the leaders should have said, the leaders of the Muslim, parties, the groups and stuff. There's multiple leaders, of course. They said, like, they should have gone out there and said, they should have denounced it. They should have said, hey, we don't think 9/11 was right. This is wrong. It wasn't us. They should have done that if they weren't in alignment with it. I was like, they did do it. Like, and it was just ironic because a couple days earlier, or maybe even the day before, I had ran a search. Hey, what are the Muslim leaders saying about 9/11? And this was a while after it happened. Like, I think years. Yeah, it was definitely years. It was probably like 10 years later. And I searched it, and I saw all the different heads of the Muslim groups denouncing 9/11. And I was like, it's right there. They did denounce it. But they didn't put that on the news. They didn't put that on social media. Now, I'm not saying that social media like banned that information or anything. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is I saw it back then, which this was probably, I don't know, 8 years ago or something. And like I saw that, if people look for one thing, they don't see the rest. We're all like that anyway. So it was already like that. We already function like that. We already pick and choose what we want to see. That's just, we all do that. And, that's humans. We do that. There's nothing wrong with it. We just do it. We should probably try to minimize it, but but now they're doing it even more with specific topics, just really trying to slant you. And I mean, that's tough, man. Hey, I can let a lot of stuff slide because it's business and their goal is to make money and it's our responsibility to understand this. But this is downright manipulation it's gotten to, which I think is really bad. So that's pretty much most of it. Oh, and Sarah's in Colorado Springs. Yeah, confirmation bias. They're really controlling information, and it's to me it's gotten completely out of control. So what I decided to do was, I have not had I voiced my opinions on several things, and some of them I kind of touched on again here. So I do have my opinions, but I like to be solution based, right? That's kind of what I do. It's solution based. So I decided that I was going to start my own social media platform. So this is what I'm doing. Hey, Jenny. So that's what I'm doing. So this is one of the reasons for the podcast today. I'm letting you guys know that I am launching a social media platform. It's in the beta stages now. So all you people can be the first ones in. And you guys are gonna, and I want your input. Like this is why I decided to go in a beta direction. I was just talking about this with Rosie, who's really wonderful and helping me make this come to fruition here. And, we had an opportunity to, should we just hold off and just create this gigantic thing? And it was like, no, I want to create it. I want more than my perspective. I want you guys' perspective. So I want to put out a beta version. I want you guys to join. I want you guys to have your loved ones join and your friends join and spread this. And just, that's even an aspect of the beta. I mean, it's not the main part, but an aspect of the beta, the testing of it, is to see how this is going to spread here. Is this really, are people craving a social media platform that doesn't manipulate information, doesn't steer anybody in one direction or another direction? I mean, love. That's the direction that this is going to be steering people in. So the name of it is Loving Nation, and it's going to be more positive. It's going to be, it's not going to be inundated with the negativity. And is there going to be some? I'm sure there's going to be some, but we're going to try to minimize it. But I think the biggest difference, because, as this expands, we have to give people some freedoms, right? So there's, I don't want to get overly crazy with, 100%, like nobody can voice their opinion unless it's a big freaking smiley face. We can't have that. We have to be able to talk about stuff and interact and keep up with it, each other. Of course, the theme is going to be more loving, and I'm not going to tolerate a bunch of hate stuff on there. But the biggest stuff is behind the scenes. It's your information is not going to be sold to companies or to anybody. It's not going to be used against you to manipulate. There isn't going to be censorship of I can't believe I have to say this. There's not going to be censorship of things that help humanity, right? I mean, the fact that they censor things that can help human beings stay healthy, to me, is unbelievable. What's the hashtag? I think the hashtag is natural remedies. I believe, maybe somebody can check it for me. Hashtag natural remedies. I believe that's the one. If it's not that, it's very close. That is actually banned on social media. They banned hashtag natural remedies. Wow. So yeah, this is going to be a social media platform that on the back end, you can trust the back end. There is not somebody that's trying to make money off of you. Because I mean, technology has come this far, people. This is why I can do it. I mean, I'm not a multimillionaire. I'm not taking millions of dollars and launching this thing to try to combat with Facebook. That's not what this is. This is grassroots. This is how change happens. All change happens on a grassroots level. I've talked about this before. It's like people look at the spearheads of change and they think that like that group did it or that person did it. It's collective consciousness that does it. It's grassroots because it's energy. So if you had people like in the, my God, I don't know what time frame to use or even or even what topic. So I'll go with women's rights this time. So like if you had let's just say 70%. If in 1920 you had 70% of the population or whatever, more than half or whatever, were sitting there going, you know what? Not only should women have rights, but I think we can make it happen. So it's not only thinking that it should be true, but it's also thinking that it's possible because people have blocks as to what's possible, right? So if there was like maybe even 51%, we'll just say for the sake of argument, just for this example, right? If there was 51% of the people in the United States in 1920 that not only thought that women should have equal rights, but believed it was possible, then the movement would have happened in 1920. But it didn't. It happened in the 60s, I believe, is when it started. That's when there was enough people in their houses, having coffee, having tea, talking to one another, not saying a word to anybody, that started going, women should have equal rights. This is ridiculous. And it's about time. This has been going on way too long. We need to do something about this. Now, even the people who didn't do anything about it, collective consciously, their energy was in the state that it should happen and it's possible. That's the grassroots. That's the energy that fed the women's movement. Now, the women's movement had, of course, their spearheads and did wonderful things to, make it come into fruition. But like that, but it's the energy. Everything is energy. So it's the grassroots energy. So I believe that there's enough people on the planet. Social media has been around long enough that there's enough people out there that are like, I don't want to be manipulated. I don't want to be sold. I don't want this stuff. I want to go just to a place where I can have the good stuffs, like bring people together, creative expression, feed businesses, keep up with friends and family, spread love, all those things that you wanted, that you guys said that you wanted. There's lots of people that want it. There's plenty of us that want that. There's plenty of us. And I don't care if we're a millionth of Facebook or 100th. I don't care. Like, it's going to be a good place for those of us that are looking for a good place. So what I want to do is get you guys on there, help us, send me emails, glenn@glennambrose.com, 2 N's in Glenn, or you can message me. Even better, this is easier. Message me on the social media. Go on there and message me on there and be like, hey, this is good. I do like this. I don't like that. Or you might want to look at tweaking this. We're just launching a very rudimentary start right now. And it's web-based. It's going to be an app at some point, but web-based is just so easy nowadays because everything is mobile friendly. So you don't need to have an app. You just have to have a mobile friendly website. So that's what this is, because, we don't have to spend a fortune developing an app when we don't even know what you guys want and all the specifics. And so that's what we're doing. We're launching it on the web. All you got to do is just go to the URL and click add to your home screen on your phone. And you just put it right on your phone, which I already did. So like right there on my phone, you see that little, I know it's hard to see you guys watching, but there's kind of like a little globe thing. That's the website. It looks just like an app. I tap on it and it goes right to the website, just like an app. So there we are. I'm on it. So you guys, it is lovingnation.org. You can go on there now. It's live. Sign up, create a profile, and start giving me feedback, and we're going to build this thing together out of love and with good, pure intentions. And we're going to fine tune it. And once we work out all the kinks and people are, I mean, that's, it's the mushrooming process, man. Spread love. You guys, talk to people about a movie that you like. Well, hey, do you want to get on a social media app? Well, it's not an app yet, technically, but do you want to get on a social media platform that is, that doesn't have all the negativity, that doesn't use your information against you, that doesn't manipulate and censor information, that's not trying to get you to do something or to buy something or to believe something? Spread it around, spread it out there, and start, the more we use it, the better we're going to be able to iron out the kinks. And then I can put together this huge app launch. And we're going to take all the information that you guys feed and we're going to build. I mean, of course, we're going to try to fine tune things on this platform that we can, but there are going to be certain things that we're going to have to hand build. We're going to literally have to hand build this. So yeah, so we're going to do that. So and the URL is lovingnation.org. .com, more business oriented, making a profit, all that stuff. .org, no. That's the general consensus of the .org and the .coms. So it's a .org, and it's Loving Nation. So hop on there. And I don't know. I can't. Well, I will put the link on my Facebook page and on my Instagram account. I'll put the link out there, and I'm gonna start advertising it either tonight or tomorrow, pretty extensively. So if you guys didn't get that, it's lovingnation.org. So, but I just have to, I upload these podcasts to many places. So I have to be careful to advertise something like this or anything right in the middle of my podcast, not the beginning or end. So, yes, so yeah, that's and where I put it just on certain platforms. So, but yeah, I'm gonna post it all over the place for you guys. So that's it. So what do you guys think? What do you guys think? You guys excited? Huh? Let me look at. I'm gonna look at the some of the comments. Yes, Sarah always goes into some good comments. Sick people make them money. Yeah. I heard Michael Bernard Beckwith talking about this in his movie Spiritual Liberation. If you guys are into spirituality and you have not seen Spiritual Liberation, I highly recommend it. That and The Shack. Those are my two favorite spiritual movies. And Spiritual Liberation was number one by far for years until The Shack came out, and now I have two. Shack's great book too, but Spiritual Liberation by Michael Bernard Beckwith, the movie, the book was good too, but the movie was completely different than the book. And the movie I loved, and he was talking about how people talk about the stock market and they're like, oh, the stock market's up, everything's good. And it's like, yeah, well, what raises the stock market? Companies making guns and ammunition, people making medicine, so there's more sick people and there's more war and the stock market goes up and everybody's like, hey, everything's good. No, that doesn't mean everything's good, but it makes money. It makes money. So this is why it feeds it, is sick people make money. Nobody's concerned with us getting healthier. They're concerned with us masking symptoms and just making more money. Will you start doing your podcast on this new platform? Yes. So actually, that's a great question, because one of the things that I'm going to do to help promote this is I'm going to be doing these podcasts. They're automatically streamed from my YouTube onto this platform. And I'm going to go, like, what I'm probably going to do is maybe shorten these a little bit, maybe start doing them. I'm going to try to do them a half hour, but you know me, I'll do whatever I feel is necessary. So if they have to go an hour, they'll go an hour, but I'm going to try to trim them down a little bit. And then I'm going to go over to the platform and I'm going to do like a live Q&A there. So we can, not only to drum up interest in the new platform, but so you guys can have more interaction with me as well. So yeah, but so that's the plan. Let's see. Yeah, so Jenny's saying I think lots of it too is people think it is possible, but they worry about being judged for backing change. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and this is why it takes courage to change. It's this is why change, doesn't take place right when people think it should. It takes a little while, and I didn't mean to minimize the role of those spearheads, the people who did helped with women's rights and equal rights, and that, like all social change all the way down the line in the United States as well as all over the globe. There's always figureheads, there's always people that are the face of it, that that somebody has to step forward and do this. This is one of the reasons why I'm doing it. I mean, somebody's got to do it. Why not? Why not me? Right. So sometimes, but it does take courage, and to lean in and to talk to your friends about this stuff and loved ones, and be like, it's we get all the good. We still get to stay in touch with our family and friends. We still get to talk about stuff. We just don't have all the manipulation on the back end happening, and the censorship, and all the negativity. I mean, like I said, I mean, there's a certain level of censorship as far as negativity that's going to go on. I mean, I'm not having this, it's happened to me a few times on social media, where somebody was just being completely negative, and I said, and I deleted their post, and they messaged me, and they were like, this isn't, you're supposed to have both sides of the argument. I'm like, no, I'm not. I'm not a news channel. I don't owe anybody anything. Like, if you're just spitting hate, I'm going to take it off my page. It's going to happen. And it's going to happen on here too. If people are just spitting hate to spit hate, I'm not, the whole point is to start something that's more positive and loving. I'm not going to let this turn into another Facebook. I can control the back end. We're not selling and manipulating and censoring, to try to achieve an agenda and all that stuff. I can kind of do that, but some of the posts, like, I mean, they we have to allow an exchange that's based in respect. And that is really what my foundation is going to be. Is the conversation respectful? Because you can have, a kind of a weird or unpopular perspective, and you have the right to voice it, but do you do it in a respectful way? That's a big difference. I mean, the way people attack each other, and the lack of respect that people have for one another on the social media now, just isn't going to fly, because I need to keep the energy different, more positive. And so is there going to be some stuff? Yeah, I'm going to piss some people off. Some people are going to be like, screw that, Glenn's censoring everything. Yeah, some people are going to say it because they just want to spout negativity. Cool. Don't go on it then. If you think that I'm censoring too much, or that I'm going to try to have some leeway. But yeah, if I start seeing things turn negative, that's not what this platform is. So you can stay on, you or anybody else can stay on regular social media if you want to be negative. If you want to be respectful and loving, then you can go to Loving Nation. It's in the name. That's what it's for. So we're going to try to stay as true to that as possible, with still allowing a little bit of leeway for people to express different opinions in a respectful manner. Ines, going to join now. Sweet. Giving me a pay. Well, I'm not. I'm in the middle of a podcast, so I'm not going to go into any technical stuff at the moment. Sarah, I read The Shack. It was phenomenal, but I don't think I could handle the movie. Yeah, it's weird. I think it's probably the only book I've ever read that I actually like the movie better. It's weird. The movie just blew me away. But bring at least one box of tissues, because I've seen it like 15 times and I bawled every time. It's not an easy. Oh. Very excited. Exciting news. Margie, your page, your rules. I believe that fostering the environment of division is part of the plan with the current. Yeah, that's I agree. I mean, it's, I think they're fostering division. I mean, I think that this is social media, and I think if you look closely at social media and the regular media, you're going to see parallels. I mean, they're really feeding it. The controversy. It's amazing. Like, what's interesting to me is that this didn't take off, but um, the timing was was comical, and I saw somebody else comment on it, which made it capture my interest even more. It was like when some of the fear was dying down with some of the COVID stuff. I don't even remember what it was. It might have been like a year ago or something. But some of the fear was like minimizing a little bit. It might have been like after the election or something, when some of that fear minimized a little. And and then all of a sudden the government came out and said, "Hey, we have proof of UFOs." It's like, you've had proof of UFOs for decades, right? And you chose in the middle of a pandemic to release this news to the public. And what was funny is the public didn't even pick up on it. I mean, like, it wasn't even that big of a deal. The we're so fearful and divided and freaked out that, like, the government, the Pentagon says we have proof of alien life, and everybody's like, yeah, but do we have to wear a mask? Like, yeah, we're so caught up in everything that's going on. But what they do, I thought it was interesting, the timing, because I actually thought that people were going to respond more. Because I figured that they just dropped it because some of the fear was dissipating. So they're like, okay, well, we need to keep people on edge, so we'll just, throw this down there. They're probably surprised. They're like, oh, geez, I didn't even it didn't even strike a chord for the most part. Most people didn't even pay attention to it, which is funny. Which is even funnier than the result that I thought was going to happen. I thought it was going to spike the fear again, and it didn't even do that. People were like, yeah, whatever. We have enough fear still. We don't have to latch onto that. Yeah, Russell Brand discusses some of this stuff too, which yeah, he's got some good. I can take him or leave him. He is one guy that I will just kind of watch snippets of his podcast kind of consistently, just snippets, and then if he catches me on something, I'll watch a little more, and then if not, I'll just not listen to him. But yeah, he has some interesting stuff because he's got a whole team researching stuff, for him. So it's kind of cool. But that's it, people. So check it out. Thank you. Really looking for your input. Social media, at the end of the day, is what we make of it. So no matter where you are, be responsible for your own energy. I'm going to wrap it up with with a general comment. Yeah, be responsible for your own energy. Some of the stuff on the back end, you don't really, you can't fully be aware of what they're manipulating and what they're not manipulating on the back end of social media. But what you can do is be responsible within yourself, and if there's something that you want to research or something, like, there's nothing wrong with getting little snippets on social media, but do a little research on the back end. That's what I always do. Like, a lot of times when people find out my stance on something and they disagree with my stance on something, and I end up having a conversation with them, a lot of times what they do is they point to these very loud social media people or loud media people, the people who are kind of like the spearheads of the movement that I agree with, kind of. But they're the extremist. So if you take the extremists on two sides of any topic, they're going to be way out of whack because the truth lies in the middle, right? So, or it's right near there, right? So like so they're like, well, this guy said this and that's a load of crap and that's what you believe. And it's like, no, that's not what I believe. That's what an extremist that leans in the direction of the way I think said. I don't believe that. That's not what I'm saying. Why? Because I do my own research. I follow patterns of behavior and do things like, oh, it's a business. Their focus is to make money. So if that's their focus, would they really be concerned about how it affects society? Well, no, not unless they're specifically a socially conscious business. Oh, okay. Let me look into this business. Do they seem socially conscious to me? Do their behaviors act like they're concerned about society? Oh, no, they don't. Oh, okay. So this is how I come to the conclusion that they are business oriented. Why? Because their actions try to make money and they are not in alignment with social consciousness. And then I come to that conclusion. It's just logical. It's, but I do my research more on a grassroots level and form my own opinion. I don't believe these extremists. To me, listening to some anti-vax extremists or some pro-vax extremists is the same as trying to get Christianity advice from the KKK. It's ridiculous. I mean, they're an extremist. They're going to blow everything way out of proportion, manipulate information, and say something stupid, no matter what side they're on, because they're extremists and they don't give a crap about the truth. They're just trying to manipulate. So there. So the reason I went off on that tangent is because I wanted to leave you guys with the idea of taking responsibility for your own lives. Empowerment. This is spirituality. If you lean into spirituality, if you lean into self-work, what you find is empowerment. What you find is self-responsibility. What you find is the ability to create whatever life you want, regardless of Facebook or Instagram or Mark Zuckerberg or the extremists on both sides or the government or anything else. This is, so yes, go check out that platform. But the point is take responsibility for your lives. And this can be a way for you to do that. Feed what you want to expand, starve what you want that you're not in, whatever you're not interested in, just starve it. You don't have to fight against it. Starve it and just spend your energy feeding what you want to expand. All right. So thank you, people. Thank you for listening. Thank you for being a part of, and I'm pumped, man. This is a whole level of creativity that I'm entering into that I haven't in a while, and it's exciting and it's fun, and I'm grateful that you guys are a part of it. So thank you, and I will talk with you guys very, very soon. All right. Let me find my ending. Peace.
Looking for more? Check out over 200 episodes of Life Lessons and Laughter, or click the link in the description of this episode to connect with Glenn directly.